The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is losing a record number of its membership.
If there are any among this people who should ever apostatize, prepare your backs for a good whipping.
That means that Ensign Peak Advisors grows by $7 billion each year from capital gains, dividends, interest, etc., plus another $1 to $2 billion each year from excess tithing. All church operations consume between $5 and $6 billion per year of tithing. It is officially, finally true that the Mormon Church could tell every member in the world to completely stop paying tithing now and forever, and it could continue to fund every current program in full without drawing down on the reserves. In other words, Ensign Peak Advisors would continue to grow. The mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
One of our brethren some years ago spoke of the payment of tithing as fire insurance. Nonetheless, the word of the Lord is clear that those who do not keep the commandments and observe the laws of God shall be burned at the time of his coming.
We do not say that all of the saints will be spared and saved from the coming day of desolation. But we do say there is no promise of safety and no promise of security except for those who love the Lord and who are seeking to do all that he commands. It may be, for instance, that nothing except the power of faith and the authority of the priesthood can save individuals and congregations from the atomic holocausts that surely shall be. And so we raise the warning voice and say, take heed, prepare, watch, and be ready. There is no security in any course except the course of obedience and conformity and righteousness.
I have faith that the Constitution will be saved as prophesied by Joseph Smith. But it will not be saved in Washington.
Brethren and sisters, we will now put you under covenant to obey and keep the law of sacrifice. And as Jesus Christ has laid down his life for the redemption of mankind, so we should covenant to sacrifice all that we possess, even our own lives if necessary, in sustaining and defending the kingdom of God. Each of you bring your right arm to the square. You and each of you solemnly covenant and promise before God, angels, and these witnesses at this altar that you will observe and keep the law of sacrifice as contained in the Holy Scriptures as it has been explained to you. Each of you bow your head and say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Travis Wayne Goodsell. I know that the last video I did was intended to be the last video, but I'm being pressured to do this video. I don't understand why Mormons want to lay down and die. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why those who have left the church, which is over 14 million of you, have left the church. I don't understand why you want to lay down and die. You know the church isn't true. There are those of you who do videos about how you believe the church isn't true, and yet you still want to lay down and die. There are those of you who are actively involved in criminal activity for the church who want to lay down and die. I do not understand this behavior. I'm well aware that the behavior exists. Islam will purposely blow themselves up and take others with them to prove that Islam is true, so that they can get 72 child bride virgins in the afterlife. I know of the Japanese kamikazes from World War II, but I don't understand it. Not as an aggressive position. As a defensive position, it's a hopeless, no-win situation. Sure, I understand that. That you would rather go down fighting rather than submit to your oppressor. That I understand. All these years since the attacks began, as I found the Joseph Smith papers, I've been warning you of the threat of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They are a national security threat. They are a threat to every nation on the face of this earth. And nobody believes they're a threat. YouTube, since my 40,000 view video from July 2017, have been trying all kinds of ways to keep my views as low as possible, even to the committing of cyber terrorism, not just preventing uploads of videos and denying and suppressing my views. I have witnessed programs on my devices getting tampered with, as well as other areas of my life where people are ordered by the church to attack me, to cause permanent harm to me. And people who watch the videos, the most part, don't care. Nobody is taking the threat seriously. You can't be a couch potato on this. That's what the church wants you to be. To let the church do it. And so nothing I do will convince you of what's going on. You will not believe. I point out to you that the Book of Mormon says it's Jewish, and Mormons say Christian. I point out to you that the name of the church under Joseph Smith was never the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And you deny. I tell you that the Book of Mormon says no priestcraft, and you embrace section 119 instead, saying that they're both true, that 119 is not priestcraft, even though it says money is supposed to go for the priesthood. What do you think money to the priesthood means? The level of stupidity, of denialism, is extremist in this church. You are no different than the FLDS church, who even after the FBI came in and punished them, locked up their living prophet of Jesus, they still continued to commit the crimes. They stayed in the church. They still believed Warren Jeffs is their mouthpiece of Jesus, born of Adam and Mary. But Mormons deny that that was Brigham Young's change. And so Mormons do not recognize the crimes that the church is committing and getting Mormons to commit. You don't see how you're committing prostitution with section 119. That you're being sex trafficked. Because the church is true. If Jesus orders it, it's not a crime. But didn't Jesus order you not to commit crime? So you don't think of these things. You don't care. You play dumb. And so, yeah, 14 million said, no, we are not going to play dumb. It is just the remaining 3.5 million of you who are playing dumb. And so this year, history is repeating itself. I've packed up the book yet again, but I've gone over it with you. The way to perfection, the blueprint of the church's overthrow of the government, and thus the world governments. So when I do my videos, even the church news videos, and I talk about how they're trying to overthrow the world governments, you don't believe. You don't see the big picture. You don't believe the church themselves when they say, we're going to overthrow the world governments. And so when they're doing it, you don't believe it? And so YouTube has always been trying to tamper with my use of YouTube to keep me from posting videos, even to attacking my system. And then those of you who've been watching this year are aware of the laptop that was malware attacked. It still hasn't recovered. They then tried it on this computer when I got this one up and going and was posting videos on this one. But as you can tell, it still survived. And so then on Valentine's Day, they attacked. Well, that was the malware on the laptop. And so then Mother's Day, they attacked my thumbnail picture on one of my videos in an attempt to keep me from posting all that day. And those who heard my appeal said, okay, yeah, it's not porn. And so then YouTube again attacked. In a video talking about a doctrinal principle in Deuteronomy chapter 19, they said was medical misinformation. It's an outright lie. It was just another threat to silence me. Because the video had already been silenced. Nobody was going to it to watch it. YouTube makes sure of that. Because of the suppression they've been doing all these years. There comes a point in time where YouTube cuts off the views for a video. And so, no, it was just more threats. And so last Thursday, YouTube then began preventing me from watching videos on YouTube. Because that's what I noticed gets more people to watch my videos by watching the videos myself. And YouTube over the years has made changes to keep me from counting. But if they're going to program YouTube to keep my videos suppressed, that's been difficult because that's how other people can get seen. And so that's why normally conference videos are my big times of the year, because people are specifically looking for conference videos. Except for this year, YouTube finally figured out how to silence my conference videos, despite doing just a blitzkrieg of videos leading up to conference. And I was even attacked during conference. Can't forget that one. During the intermediary between the two Sunday sessions, they permanently tampered with my movie maker to cause it to function below normal. And so I am amazed, not really, by being on vacation, shall we say, since Friday last. As I'm not having problems anymore with any of the programs used to make the videos that I make for you guys. It's very clear and obvious. They think they got me. I'm now no longer posting videos. And I've warned you of what's coming this year. The Book of Mormon is going to be proven true. America will fall. But your lives are in danger. And thus why I'm attacked more severely this year than any previous year. But they're following the exact same pattern. And so yes, they've even gotten the government of Utah to attack me. Last year, they got my brother to attack me. That was a big mistake. He's too easy to confound. And it ended up being a fulfillment of biblical prophecy anyway. That's probably the most amusing part of all of this. I've been going over the Joseph Smith papers, and it's sad that Mormons won't. It's sad that Exfo Nevermos don't go to the Joseph Smith papers. I mean, those of the older generation know about Gerald and Sandra Tanner. What did they get in trouble for? Revealing the truth about original documents from church history. So what are the Joseph Smith papers? The original documents from church history. What the church tried desperately to cover up, like a woman's body. And sadly, I'm hearing about too many people who, because they refuse to give up Christianity, to purge it from their mind. I warned you, if you don't do that, there will come a video where you will get offended. And with the sexual abuse that the church causes to Mormons, that's one of the denialisms. And people try to argue with extremism. Well, if we can't cover up and hide, then we'd be naked all the time. That's not the point. It's a fallacious argument. You're being a dumbass. I'm talking about all these abuses that occur by people demanding to take away the agency of others to follow their moral standards and values. To deny what they consider moral when it's other people doing it. Mormons are incapable of allowing other people to worship how, where, and what they may. Our Constitution guarantees women the right to an abortion. And it's gone. The Constitution overthrown. And if you have no clue that it's the 14th Amendment, Section 1, dear God. The church keeps pushing the religious freedom movement. And you're not paying attention that Oaks is saying that it's so that they can have child bride polygamy again. Ignoring the fact that the First Amendment says religion already has religious freedom. You just can't take away the freedom of others, which is what the church is doing. So yeah, I can just, as you've seen, I've got over 3.8K view videos, many of which are long. The Joseph Smith papers mixes up both Brigham Young's forged documents and the plot to overthrow Joseph Smith and even to overthrow the government in the latter days, mingled with Joseph Smith's obviously contradictory information. And it's sad that Mormons believe Brigham and thus try to claim that Joseph Smith therefore is true. I have seen in the Joseph Smith papers where Joseph Smith still continues to call the name of the Church of the Latter-day Saints, even when he supposedly changed it to the Church of Jesus Christ. And Section 115 was a couple months after Joseph Smith supposedly was talking about the change. And I see the difference. When Joseph Smith is locked up, the licenses for elders to minister are the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. When it's by Joseph Smith, it's the Church of the Latter-day Saints. Blatantly obvious that Brigham Young was cooing the church. And so the way to perfection talks about Adam on Diamond. That was the secret headquarters of Brigham Young's Danites. And so after the Mormon War, which was actually the Danite War, to coup Joseph Smith, Brigham Young's Danites fled and created Nauvoo. It's all right there in the Joseph Smith papers. Joseph Smith has a discourse talking to the church in Caldwell from Liberty Jail, saying, "Do not flee or move until I get out." And yet Brigham Young had already sent the Danites to Nauvoo to settle there. And notice how the names are Adam on Diamond from the Egyptian papyri that Joseph Smith worked on, which they spelled it wrong. And then Nauvoo, from Sykes's Hebrew grammar that Joseph Smith also was educated on. They were mocking Joseph to deceive new converts. All of the evidence against this church is in there. Their whole plot to murder Joseph Smith, going from Plan A to Plan B to Plan C. As Joseph Smith, or Brigham Young, gave himself alibi before the 1838 war, and when he found out that Joseph Smith got out of Liberty Jail. It's just unbelievable that the church thinks you're that stupid that the church can just get away with it and post it so that anybody who looks and researches can figure it out. So, I'm only doing this because I wasn't allowed to go to sleep. And there's a sign in the heavens. And so since it didn't happen another way, I got threatened to do it. And so the majority of you don't know what I mean by that. It's from Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. Sign in the heavens and the likeness of things on the earth. So, I'm not intending to do any more videos. I've warned you. Things have escalated for me because I'm warning you to save your lives. And instead, I'm the one getting attacked and abused by you. You guys would rather die. Are you telling this to your kids? That you're gonna have them die? How could you be this disloyal to Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon when you go around and tell everybody how much you love the Book of Mormon and Joseph? You're just pure evil calling them Christian. You refuse to study. You refuse to just read. And here I am, being punished, because I'm trying to warn you. My own government here in Utah, attacking me now. YouTube. Doing a pretty permanent attack. And my federal government refuses to do anything about it. I can only help those of you who help yourself. And as Joseph Smith said, while he was in Liberty Jail, that when Mormons experience the abuses that Joseph Smith did, that they remember that Joseph Smith already experienced them. He was already lied about. He was already hurt, physically hurt. He was already wrongfully locked up. And so when it comes to you, this year, remember, I already went through it all. I tried to warn you. And you just won't care because you want to die.